Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chub
Happy New Year!
2021.
Woo!
Watching Blade Runner 2049.
That's right, baby.
So,
Yippee.
gentlemen, what did we think of Blade Runner 2049?
This movie is one of the best movies to come out in recent years.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I love this movie with my entire being, and upon rewatching it, I think it's better than the first one.
It's okay. It's better than the first one. You don't need to rewatch it to make that claim, but...
Well, I just didn't want to say that it was better than the first one, because my initial viewing was not in the best circumstances. I'm pretty sure I had no audio.
Then that's like, you can't even say you watched the movie.
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
That's like
no.
saying you
Well, he can
listened
say he
to a
watched
song.
it. He just didn't
I
listen
did. I
to
watched it. I was at work.
Yeah, but you didn't really experience it. Like that's.
Oh,
saying,
no, I didn't experience
That's
it.
saying you experienced an album, but just read the lyric sheet.
Yeah.
That's like
I really liked. I love this movie.
Yeah, this
is a great movie. I think the score, ignoring what Isaac says, I think it's a fantastic
Amazing score. Hans
It
Zimmer.
is perfect for this movie. Well done, Hans Zimmer. As always.
But, like, it's only halfway well done. See, here's the thing about scores. If you slap Hans Zimmer's name on anything, people are going to go full Chub over it, fucking bust a load all over it. They're going to think it's the best thing ever just because it's Hans Zimmer. What Hans Zimmer does is he makes sound effects, basically, but with instruments. Kind of instruments. I'll call them half instruments.
Isn't that what music is?
No.
Sound effects with instruments?
No. There's pitch and there's tonality and there's melody and there were none of those things. None of those elements. It was cool, effectual sound audio imagery, I will call it. But from a musical standpoint, it was lacking.
So do you not like the score from The Dark Knight?
I like that, but that's a lot more melodic. That's a lot more musical than this.
So because it doesn't subscribe
I'm
to
not
standard
saying,
music theory,
I'm not
bad.
saying all Hans Zimmer is bad, but I'm saying a lot of Hans Zimmer gets hyped up just because it's Hans Zimmer and not because it's anything special or unique.
So, what were you going to say to him about his take on the score?
I was going to say we need to make sure we don't turn it into a Hans Zimmer debate and spin it back to Blade Runner. We like the score. He doesn't particularly like the
Fuck
score,
the
which
score,
is fine.
bro.
It's fine.
He hates the score. Oh, so let's start, I guess, from the beginning of the movie. We open with a sweeping landscape shot and a car flying down to what looks like a
spinner
farm, I guess. Does it look like a farm from the outside?
In a way, yes.
But anyways, we've got another shot of what looks like a guy farming for bugs.
Maggots.
Turns out it's Dave Bautista's Sapper Morton. Really cool character. Dave Bautista acting. It's always a weird thing to see him act because I really know him as Drax, and that's just a dumb character.
And then enter everybody's favorite white person,
Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Who's great in this movie.
Yes.
He was good. I'll give him that. It was a good role for him.
I think all the actors were really good in this movie.
Denis Villeneuve knows how to use actors, that's for sure.
Except for Jared Leto. I didn't like him. I don't know if I just didn't like his character.
He's just pretentious, bro.
I just don't like Jared Leto.
I'm not a fan of Jared Leto per se, but I think he works in this movie. I think he is effectual in the role that he plays.
He's supposed to play like a guy who thinks he's God.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like Jared Leto is.
Has some kind of
God complex. Yeah. But anyways, we have Ryan Gosling seemingly coming to Blade Run this
run some blades
replicant
on this bitch.
Who is Sapper Morton, Dave Bautista, and I'm bad at recapping.
We don't have to recap.
Okay.
Let's just talk about the
synopsis,
movie. We don't have to talk about the movie. A brief synopsis.
Play-by-play.
So Sapper Morton is a replicant, and he's an older model replicant, and they all have to be retired. And K, even though he is a replicant, he's a newer model. It's his job to retire these older models. K is Ryan Gosling.
Not to be mistaken with Agent K from Men in Black. I got confused.
Same character.
Just letting you know.
Tommy Lee Jones
is not in this movie. He's not here. Yeah. Now, Harrison Ford kind of does look like Tommy Lee Jones because he's old now.
No.
I mean, their noses are the same. They got old man
that's
nose.
That's just old people.
This is the old man nose.
That doesn't mean anything.
But yeah, after that happens, the encounter with Sapper Morton sends Kay, played by Ryan Gosling, on a quest to find out the mystery behind what Sapper Morton was kind of doing there, where he's been for like the last 30 years, because it's pretty much exactly 30 years after the original Blade Runner, because that takes place in late 2019, and this takes place in like mid 2049. So pretty much the whole movie is about Kay on this quest to find out what the object that Sapper Morton was hiding is all about.
But it wasn't an object.
It starts off as an object. It's box of bones, which leads them down the rabbit hole, as they say.
And they find out that this box of bones was in fact a
woman
who was a
replicant.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
But it was
pregnant, and she was a replicant, which, buh?
Yeah, how did that happen?
How? If you pump enough cum into somebody, they'll get pregnant.
I don't know if you're going to keep that in. You might want to cut that.
No. It stays.
I want to talk about the cinematography in this movie. Yeah. Because it is second to none.
Denis
so
Villeneuve.
good. Roger Deakins as a cinematographer, just the best. Can't top it.
Oh, I'm fucking dumb. You said cinematographer.
Yeah, I said cinematography. But the direction, excellent. Denis Villeneuve as a filmmaker, he is a renaissance man. This movie was shot on film, and it looks like it, and it looks awesome. And the imagery and every scene, like they say, every frame of Rembrandt, is very true in this movie. So just as pure visual spectacle, this movie is amazing.
It
looked pretty good.
It just looked like a better Blade Runner, a more fleshed out world of Blade Runner, and it was exactly what it needed to be as far as the aesthetic. It was perfectly
like a dang old good film.
Mm-hmm.
There were colors and lights and all my favorite elements.
People and
Harrison Ford acting.
Yes,
for like 2 minutes,
which is great.
2 whole minutes.
You'd love to see it. He did it in the original Blade Runner, and he did here as well. And I love to see it. Not just him being Harrison Ford. It's great. There was at one point some CGI face.
A little bit,
almost as good as Luke Skywalker in the last episode of The Mandalorian.
But then she talked towards the camera, which just it can't look right. It just can't.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. Like, what happened with Luke Skywalker, bro? That's as good as it gets. Like, it doesn't get better than that without it being like unsettling. If it looked better in either this movie or the season finale of The Mandalorian, it would have been discomforting.
I guess.
To know that they could replicate somebody's face so perfectly. Shut the fuck up.
I think the technology is good for just getting the face right, but when it comes to natural human movement, especially speech, it's a little more difficult.
It just shouldn't be done. Move on to the future. Leave these old fuckers in the past where they belong. You know what I'm like? I feel like everything these days has to be.
Bro, what about Tupac's hologram?
That's different. That was a hologram, bro.
That's weird to me.
Everything has to be.
That you can have a concert with a hologram.
Yeah,
that's weird.
But you like these days has Frank Sinatra hologram concert.
I guess I did like
that.
Yeah, but it was personal. Like going to a concert where they're having Tupac.
That should be more like going to a
it wasn't a concert. It was like for the Grammys or something.
I will say concept
that's so strange.
The concept of going to see a hologram concert, I think, is a little bizarre, especially if it's like under the pretense of, oh, this is a performance by a famous now deceased artist, but I think for like they had a little hologram projection of Frank Sinatra, and he kind of serenades you and he sings along to whatever song it happens to be playing. I think that's pretty cool.
That was cool because that was more like almost watching a music video.
Yeah,
That works.
Yeah.
But I was speaking towards like Tupac having a concert.
Yeah, when it
and that
is presented as like a new thing.
Well, like there are I think they're called V jockeys. No,
Virtual jockeys,
virtual VDJs or whatever.
That sounds like
that.
vagina.
Yeah,
it kind of does.
Yeah,
that's totally
VJ.
That's totally a nickname.
I
for
think
vagina.
that's what it is. There's in Japan there's a character called Hatsune Miku.
Yes,
that is a people pay millions, maybe even billions of dollars to see this fake thing have a concert. It's so strange.
Yeah.
It is strange. They go crazy over this shit too.
Yeah.
It is weird, but it's only in Japan, I guess.
So you're saying it makes billions of dollars?
It makes billions of dollars.
I don't think anybody pays $1 billion to see that, but as like revenue, it makes billions in revenue.
It may make as much as like, the boy bands of Korea, like BTS,
K-pop.
like those guys,
Yeah.
K-pop, like that shit.
I'm
it's
a One
crazy.
Direction simp all the way.
I guess.
I'm just kidding.
I'm more of an NSYNC guy myself.
We're getting off
Bye,
topic.
bye.
God damn it. We need
Back to
We need to
the
get back-
movie review. Where were we?
Cyberpunk territory. But not Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys were mentioning a lot of imagery that seemed to have directly inspired Cyberpunk. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, pretty much the whole movie. I mean, from the world building to the just simple shit. Like, I feel like the gun, I feel like the typical Blade Runner gun is in Cyberpunk. I feel like different elements of this, that, and the next thing. Like the virtual strippers and shit, 100%.
Everything's very sexual.
Yes, 100%
Everything
Cyberpunk.
is sexual. They're like the future. Everything is sex. There's giant statues of big tittied women, and giant holograms of Ana de Armas, and her boobies out and her ass hanging out.
Yeah, full boobie.
Very very attractive people in this movie.
Full boobie.
Everybody's attractive in the future. It's great.
And no ugly people.
No ugly people. And there's all bald children.
Yeah, all the children are chemo patients.
Everyone is bald. If they're under the age of maybe 12.
Yeah. It's a genetic thing.
Like, they don't grow hair until
nuclear radiation messed with the DNA, and so it delays hair growth for a long time.
Is that actually what happens?
No, but it sounds like
I would
a good
believe that. That actually does work because there are portions of the world where there's like lots of radiation.
Well, they said that Vegas
I'm going to go ahead and say that there's
one of
probably not like an official Blade Runner canon, so we can probably just do
That's my canon.
whatever we want.
That's his canon.
My canon is in my pants, but
I got two right here, bro.
it's my ass.
Yeah.
I poop at such high velocity.
God damn it. Welcome to the Shitcast 2021. This is why we have 6 subscribers.
No, we have 6 subscribers.
No,
we
this
just
is-
started
this
this
is
shit.
what's going to get us 6
This is why we have
That's absolutely staying in, by the way. That's really good. Ooh, boy. Honestly, I feel like this movie is in my opinion, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 out of 10.
That's a stretch.
I think it is a perfect film. There is one question that I have.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I think it's because I wasn't paying attention. How did they know that the girl that he met that makes the memories was Deckard's daughter?
Okay, so
with Rachel.
Those people who told Kay that were responsible for basically...
For the hiding process?
Yeah, they were responsible for hiding her and kind of making her disappear from the records. And so they would have known about her, and they will almost certainly keep tabs on her. And they probably actually set her up to be in that position where it's like, oh, well, nobody can come in here because, I have a weakened immune system.
Yeah.
It's probably all part of the plan. And they would definitely know.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
And then,
trust and checks mix, dude.
And then we get the reuniting of Deckard. We're just skipping to the end now. Reunited with his daughter, and Joe, our now it used to be Kay, now has a name, Joe,
which was given to him by Joy, his holographic girlfriend.
His Ana de
jerk
Armas
off instruction.
Yes, it is a play on JOI.
We don't know that.
It's
but
absolutely a play on
coincidental.
JOI. There's no
Jeremy,
way it's not.
There's no way.
They could have done anything, and they called it JOI, Joy. Come on, man.
What else does it stand for?
But Joe reunites Deckard after a battle reunites with his daughter, and Joe has a hero's death. Well, he does something good.
We don't see him die.
I think he dies. I think that's the perfect journey for him.
I mean,
he found meaning.
Yeah, it's not 100% clear that he dies. I mean, it could just be he sits there and he's like, well, what do I do now?
Hey, Jeremy, is Mace Windu dead?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Joe's definitely fucking dead, bro.
I think that Joe's dead.
He's dead.
I think it's fine if he's dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters if he's dead or not.
He's been shot like 3 times. He was impaled at one point.
He got blown up.
He was stabbed
I think it's more
times.
poetic if he goes out like that.
If that's the case, and I'm totally fine with that being the case, I wish there would have been a more definitive...
Maybe like a close-up on his face and his eyes kind of...
I just have one
maybe
question.
Maybe closing, maybe not closing...
Even if he just kind of like is looking at the camera for just a moment and then he just kind of trails off.
Maybe I don't know, something, and the camera follows and it looks up to Harrison Ford reuniting with his daughter.
Or something. I don't know. It just, to me, I can be totally fine with him being dead or not dead. And it was probably intentionally ambiguous that way, which, it makes it ripe for debate and discussion. But if he was supposed to die at the end, I think there should have been just a little bit more that suggested that.
I think it works both ways, but I think it's more poetic if he did die.
I can agree with that. I'm totally fine with that.
I fucking love this movie.
But I also say that Kay doesn't have to die at the end for it to work and for it to be good. But I think you're right.
I just have 2 questions.
Sure.
One, I'm glad that this was not like another noir cop film. It was, but it was a lot more subtle than it was in the first one. And thank God there was no... Yes, a lot more subtle.
At least in the style of filmmaking, I think, is what he's saying.
Okay.
It was not a self-narrated...
Oh, yeah. I guess the narration, I keep forgetting that was in Blade Runner. I tune it out because it just was annoying.
My second question is, why the fuck are they called Blade Runners, bro? I just want to know why.
It's because it's a cool fucking name.
That's pretty much the actual answer.
They don't run and they don't use blades. So why are they called Blade Runners?
I originally thought that they were called Blade Runners.
Why are they called Jedi?
Because
George Lucas had a chub at some point and said Jedi.
Okay. That's why Ridley Scott decided to call him Blade Runner.
So there was another property at the time when they were making the movie.
Just implies 2 things that aren't happening.
When they were making the movie, I can't remember exactly, but there was a name of some other book called Blade Runner, or maybe it was Blade Runners, I don't know. But it's the name of a book. And I don't know what it has to do with the story, but the movie Blade Runner and its sequel,
there's more Blade
Runner
combat in this movie than there is in the first Blade
based
Runner.
Off of a book called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Yeah. That's really all it comes down to. Yeah. He was stabbed at the beginning. He was stabbed.
He's running with blades in him.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Cool. So
he got stabbed in the side that he got stabbed in later.
I thought about it the first time. I thought they were called Blade Runners because it was, to me, something like they're executioners. They hunt down rogue replicants, and they're like executioners. So like an executioner typically had a blade, but he was, stationary. So, when the blade comes down, they chop off your head, you die. But since the replicants always run, I'm explaining my rationale behind it for our viewers out there.
I think they know what they are.
Okay, well, maybe, I don't know. would you rather
Isaac, you're asking a dumbass. This is a dumbass question.
It is not dumbass.
That's a dumbass question.
I just want to know.
This is like asking why they're called Jedi. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter.
It's not the same.
It does not matter.
Jedi is just an implication to a mythical name of this.
Well, it's
just like
play
the
up
term
to samurai, but
Sith.
Why did samurai get their name? Where does the name samurai come from?
Well, samurai probably means something in Japanese.
Maybe Blade Runner
probably has a meaning. We just don't fucking know what it is.
I want to know what it is. That's bullshit.
That's such a weird point to care about.
They call replicants. There's a slur used in the movies called they call them skin jobs.
Skin jobs.
And even in this movie,
they call him a Skinner. Well, at one point,
Skinner's another one, but they had somebody scrolls on his door, "Fuck off, skin job." And so skin job is like a slur for a replicant. So maybe Blade Runner is a slur for a cop who hunts down replicants. Just like, people in the real world have many slurs for cops, including, for example, pigs. So you can call a cop pig.
I smell bacon.
So yeah, maybe that's all it is. It's just a futuristic slur for a replicant hunter. But I always took it as they're basically executioners, not exactly contract killers, but they have to go after their target and pursue them. So instead of standing there and not moving like a typical executioner, they have to chase after them, pursue them, run after them.
No,
Blade Runner.
I disagree.
Okay, well, you can disagree. I mean, it's not. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to come up with a nice explanation.
I don't want you
maybe
to explain it to me. I wanted them to explain.
Why does that have to be explained to you?
It matters.
They explained it to you. They explained what they do. Why do you need to know what it means?
Because it's important.
No, it is not.
Maybe not to you, but it is to me.
God damn it.
So my explanation wasn't satisfactory?
No.
Okay.
Why are they called cops?
Well,
actually, I can't tell you why.
Back in the day, their badges used to be made out of copper, and so they called them coppers.
No.
And that just shortened for cops.
No.
It's like pants. So Spanish for pants are pantalones. And then when Mexican people came up to work on the railroad,
this is not the word meaning podcast.
The racist people.
I don't give a shit anymore.
No, it's important.
I'm sorry that I asked. I don't care anymore.
It's important.
I would like to move on.
That's a good idea.
They called them pantaloons, and then they just called them pants for short.
I want to leave this in because this is funny. I don't care what the fucking meaning of Blade Runner is.
But I do.
It makes sense because they explain what they do. That's just their name. That's what they're called. It's like being called a Jedi. It's the same thing. It does not matter what it means. It's just their name. It's the same thing. Moving on, I give Blade Runner 2049 a full chub. I love this fucking movie. I think it's a perfect film. I might buy it because I've finally seen it and I want to watch it again.
I would highly recommend. You could probably find it at Mega Replay.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
Jeremy?
Maximum torque, full chubbage.
Way overrated. Third of a chub at best.
Third of a chub.
It was better than the first one, but I don't know. Not worth 3 hours of my time.
All right, the man has spoken. The men have spoken.
It would be a good 2-hour movie if you could cut an hour out of that.
What would you cut out of this movie? I don't think there was any bloat to this movie.
There's not, but I think it would be an interesting exercise in editing.
Yeah,
I think
you
just
could
as
probably
an experiment.
Speed it up. You could probably speed it up with some.
Just as an experiment. But I mean, there were several
scenes.
Throw
a montage in there. Call it good.
Oh jeez,
not a montage.
I hate that.
No, montages can ruin movies.
Training montage.
Well, that was another thing we didn't even really talk about that much was the editing. Even though this movie is really long, I think the editing was done very well. When he finds the wooden horse for real, that whole scene, in my opinion,
that was a beautiful scene.
That the editing and the pacing of that scene is done so well. We don't see his entire process of walking across the room to get to this place.
But we get the feeling of...
We see the important beats of that.
Yeah.
And instead of it taking the 2 or 3 minutes it would take to traverse this location, we see it in about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And the dramatic reveal of what he's found is superb, and that has a lot to do with the pacing of the edit. So it's another aspect of this movie that it excels the editing.
Great movie, perfect movie in my opinion. Go see it today in your local theater. Actually, you can't because this movie flopped and it'll never.
Flopped because it's not that good.
It's a fucking great movie, but fucking normie lame brains can't sit down for more than an hour and a half if there's not a bombastic fight scene.
No, that's not true. I think there is a lot of ground to cover between an hour and a half and 3 fucking hours. Think about if you're a person.
You just have to be able to be invested in a narrative.
But like think about if you are a person who works and has like kids who are like going to school and doing sports and shit. Like,
well, that's
you don't
not
have
us.
time.
We don't.
But then
we
it also goes to show that this movie is not meant for everybody. Denis Villeneuve does not make movies for everybody.
But I'm just saying that's why it flopped, because if it would be for
Ridley Scott does not make movies for everybody.
It would be good. It would have done well in the box office.
J.J. Abrams makes movies for everybody.
That's true.
Fucking Zack Snyder tries to make movies for everybody.
Okay, but he fails. That's different. He tries to make movies for everybody, and he only exceeds in making movies for nobody.
Jon Favreau makes movies for everybody.
He does.
He does a fucking great job at that shit.
Yes.
There's just certain directors and certain creatives that don't make movies. Oh, Spielberg's a great example of makes movies for everybody.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're not going to make movies,
has great range too.
He does.
If you're going to make movies that aren't for everybody, you can't be like, oh, it bombed in the box office. You can't rely on your box office at that point.
I think it's just more disappointing because a lot of people like movies like this. Wanted to see a better turnout.
This movie
for this
did
movie.
profit. It's not like it.
They barely profited.
It made its money back.
It did not hit. I believe projected numbers were like
it was not
million or something.
Blockbuster
like they were
level.
wanting it to do blockbuster.
It wasn't Jaws in 1975.
They were wanting it to do like Lord of the Rings type stuff, like because it is about the length of the Lord of the Rings movie, isn't it?
Roughly, yeah.
So I think that they were kind of seeing that, and they were like, I mean, it's got.
Cyber
elements.
Yeah.
It's got a director that does not make movies for everybody, and I think that is one of the things.
Listen,
he makes slow pace.
I love a long
cerebral
movie, but at some point there has to be something engaging. Lord of the Rings is a perfect example of that. Bro, if the first movie was not 3 hours and however many minutes long, the Lord of the Rings fan base would be triple the size that it is. Yes, it would, because people just can't.
Base is pretty fucking big.
It's not compared to Star Wars.
No, Lord of the Rings
because there's less media.
Lord of the Rings is the most popular
there's almost as many
fantasy-based franchise.
If you count in The Hobbit.
There's six Lord of the Rings movies if you count those.
Right, and probably more coming, I would assume.
No.
Yes.
Maybe a show.
There's a TV series confirmed. They just finished filming it, actually.
I'm just saying, though, but like...
That could be interesting.
It's an Amazon exclusive, which they make good series, so I'm excited. They spent like fucking $2 billion
and as long as it doesn't cover
almost.
Ground that we've already seen in movies, then I'll be probably okay with it.
It's a prequel series.
Yeah, they said it was supposed to be like in the Second Age or something like that. So pretty early on in the lore.
Very, very interested in that. Definitely going to do a chub on that.
Well, does that mean we're going to cover Lord of the Rings?
I will.
This motherfucker has not seen it. God damn it. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we could talk
about
that.
Bro, that's so long. For the first movie, it's like 3 hours and 40 minutes.
So we can do a fucking Whatcha Watchin, and Jeremy and I can co-op.
Go, absolutely.
Anyways,
go nuts,
let's move into the segment
called... We could try doing the theatrical versions. Those are only about 2 hours long.
That's still too
what?
long.
Yeah, an hour shorter?
Yeah, there's...
Holy shit.
Yeah, because they were like, wow, nobody's going to sit through this shit.
They sat through Avengers.
Yeah, but fuck them too.
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing. People were worried about sitting through a fucking 3-hour movie. Anyways.
Well, Return of the King extended cut is 4 hours long.
Oh my god, I've never seen the extended cut, but I kind of want to watch it.
Dude, it's so good.
Bro, I have so many things I could do with 4 hours.
I would like to... We could play a lot of rounds of gunfight.
That's what I'm saying, then I'd have more fun.
I would have more fun watching Return of the King. I'm just going to put that out there.
Those movies are fucking fantastic.
I would say
they
Lord
are
of the
journeys.
Rings.
They're adventures.
The original 3 Lord of the Rings movies, Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King, best trilogy ever, hands down.
I could get behind that. I haven't been able to watch it as an adult.
Oh.
So I think I need to do that before I say that with confidence.
We should watch it on the projector.
All 3 movies in one day.
Not in one day.
Die
I mean, if you want a extravagant 12 and some change hour experience.
Fuck that. That sounds awful.
Yeah,
I love
sounds
movies, but I don't
terrible.
like 12 hours worth of
You
movies.
just do it over the course of like a month.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be down for that.
12-hour movie session would be good if you could get through like 4 movies.
You might need
4 or 5
You might need
movies.
some things to eat to,
Well, yeah. I
No
mean,
kidding.
Make
this
your-
is Jeremy we're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
No,
Food
I'm
will
saying
always be in the
things
equation.
to alter your mood a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Well, I mean,
Drugs.
That might be like
copious amounts of Jack Daniels.
copious amounts of
Meth.
marijuana edibles brought to you by Meds Cafe.
Hey man, if the movie's good enough, I don't need drugs to get high.
So you
Okay,
get high
anyway,
on
so
Shut up, Jeremy. All right, we are gonna move
I'm
on.
high
to
on life. I'm straight edge, bro.
All right. We're gonna move on to the segment we're bringing new today called "Whatcha Watchin," where each of us discuss one thing that we've been watching recently or have watched recently, and do a brief review and give our thoughts on it. So let's start with Jeremy. What have you watched recently? What you watching?
Well, do you want like what I most recently watched, or do you want me to just pick one? Because I have
Pick something.
I have 3 different ones.
Pick something. The floor is yours, my friend.
Or the table.
I'll talk about Westworld. So I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of season 3 of Westworld, and so far I really like it. It's a little bit easier to follow than the second season, but I didn't have a problem with either of the first 2 seasons of Westworld, and the third season has a lot of really neat aspects to it. It's instead of in the park, now they're in the real world. The subtitle to the season 3 is actually called The Real World. Season 1 was The Maze, season 2 was The Door, season 3 is The Real World. So we're out in the real world, but there's still a lot going on, and the most recent episode I watched had a really interesting twist in the narrative. It had to do actually with the main character, and something that they were doing, which was interesting because even though you didn't know that they were doing this thing, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm going to speak very vague here. It was in front of the audience the entire time, and you were trying to figure out, like, well, who's controlling that or who's doing this, and it was the main character the whole time, and it was really, really cool. Also, just as a personal bonus,
Grab my water.
there was one line of dialogue where this one guy is holding somebody at gunpoint and somebody else runs away, and so the guy turns to the person that they're with and he says, "Run, go after them," and the guy stares at him and is like, "What?" Because he's never like done this thing before, like this type of crime, I guess. And then the guy with the other dude at gunpoint, he just stares at him and he goes, "Fucking run!" And that's for me was a really great win because I like to say that just every once in a while, especially when I'm watching something and it's appropriate for somebody to run. I'll just go, "Fucking run!" So to see somebody say that was a very large personal victory for me. Honestly, I love Westworld as a TV show.
How would you say Westworld season 3 stacks up to season 2 and 1?
Well, I'm only halfway through it. There's only 8 episodes in season 3 compared to the 10 from the previous 2. But I think as far as the writing goes and what I've seen so far, it is equal to what they've done in the past. And now that the environment has changed from them going to an amusement park setting to the real world, or what's supposed to be like a futuristic real world, I think it actually, at least from what I've seen, is just a cut maybe above, because they're now dealing with these other like outside aspects, which in the park we would never have seen. It was all very contained at like this is what's going on, this is the, at the Delos facility, but now there is outside factors at play other than Delos, and we get to see the machinations of what's going on inside Delos, and somebody who's trying to move against them.
Mm-hmm.
And it all ties into the same main characters that we've seen throughout the show. But I think, at least so far from what I've seen, it's just as good, if not just slightly better.
Okay.
So for me, I think Westworld is great. And I've always been like a really big fan. Being the score is awesome. They do covers, like they had a lot of Radiohead covers, but done like orchestrally. And like right away in season 1, I kind of saw it as the ultimate realization of like an RPG, especially kind of like Fallout New Vegas. I mean, there's like that Old West type theme, and instead of you being the player experiencing the game world, the people visit the park, and instead of calling them players, they just call them newcomers. And every host or every robot is basically an NPC, and then you got all these different locations around the park or around the map, and they have all these different quests, or in the show they call them narratives that they follow. But just like in a game, they had all these people at the park writing the narratives, designing the costumes, being the artists and everything. So I always had a very deep fancy for what they were doing on Westworld. So,
Fun fact, do you know who helped come up with the original idea for Westworld?
Michael Crichton, the author of
Crichton.
Jurassic Park.
But yes.
Whatever.
We've had this debate like 3 times.
I've always heard it as Crichton, but
I'm going to call him Crichton.
Same guy who wrote Jurassic Park.
You're the wrongest.
I'm going to call him Crichton.
Westworld.
I don't even know what his name looks like. I don't know what letters it's made up of.
It's like
Crichton.
CRICHTON or something.
It's Michael Crichton.
Michael
Crichton.
Michael Crichton.
What are you watching, Evan?
Well, I was going to go to Isaac. Isaac, what you watching?
I'm in the middle of my like sixth rewatch of the only good show to ever come out of the Fox network, which is Prison Break.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Firefly. You've let me down.
You don't like Prison Break?
Isn't that some like
I haven't seen Prison Break.
Show for people who watch MTV? Didn't that come out on MTV?
No.
It came out on Fox?
Yeah.
It's got a what's his fucking name? Not the dude.
Yes, I know exactly who
you're
talking about.
What's his name? He's got a very plain name.
Dominic Purcell?
No, the other guy.
Oh man, it's like right off the top of my head.
He's got such a boring ass name.
He's gay.
Is he?
Yeah. That main character?
Yes.
Yeah, super gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
tell us about
really
Prison Break.
It's like Wilmington or something. Wilmington.
Chad Wilson.
It's such a weird name.
I gotta look it up now. No. Wentworth.
Yeah.
What's his
Wentworth
first name?
Miller.
Wentworth Miller. That's what it is.
Wentworth Miller. Like, who's named Wentworth?
I don't know, but so basically,
Silver spoon ass.
Basically, it's got a lot of really cool elements into it. Like, obviously, it's not going to be production quality the same as like an HBO show, like Westworld or even Game of Thrones. But for a Fox show, it's pretty good. It's got everything you want. Prison.
Is it as good as The Following?
I would say yes, but it also has like the story longevity of The Following, where it's like at some point it's like, okay, well, what more can you really do with this?
Oh, so it comes to that point eventually?
After like the first 3 seasons, yeah.
Oh, there's more than 3 seasons.
There's 5 actually. There were 4, and then they reboot it for a 5th one in like 2017. It's like 9 episodes, but it's got everything you want: prison, women, breaking things, full body tattoos, toilet secret entrances.
Do we get to see dogs driving tanks in that show?
No. Government conspiracies.
Oh?
Yeah, there is. So there's a cool government conspiracy. Basically, this dude who's like a super smart architect gets himself into prison where his own brother is being held on death row for a murder he did not commit. Turns out Uncle Sam is involved. There's a whole thing. There's assassins. double crosses,
Like
a pedophile.
There's always a pedophile in a prison show.
Yeah,
there's gotta be one.
100%. But it's like a smart pedophile. It's really weird. It's like he helps.
I don't like that.
It's helps,
like
but you have
that.
to hate him. The mob. There's the mob. They're in there. Yeah, dude. The only prison faction that isn't really well represented are the white supremacists.
Oh
Truly.
man,
When
will they get their day?
You get Sons of Anarchy.
That's what I was gonna say.
They have a big role.
Exactly.
I've heard
Sons of
I've
Anarchy.
heard that that's a fucking great show.
Love that show, dude. Every time I watch that show, I'm like, I need to buy a motorcycle. But anyway, it's pretty
One of those
good.
shows that make you feel like a biker
Season
gang.
4
Yes.
kind of hits, and then it turns into more of a heist show. Which, if you're a Rick and Morty fan, you know that just fucking sucks.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
There's a lot of you son of a bitch, I'm in. There's a lot of that
Christ.
in season 4.
Well, when they go past the longevity of the story that was initially established, it's kind of like
Well, the story worked because there's this giant government conspiracy that takes 4 seasons to unfoil to the public, and I don't know, for whatever reason, instead of breaking out of prison in season 4, they were like, I know the show is called Prison Break, but we don't know who we want to send to prison this time, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds interesting the way you established
the first
full body tattoos. You had me there.
Yeah. So this dude, okay, so
smart pedophiles.
The full body tattoos, the youngest brother, Wentworth Miller, Hot Dog Miller, breaks into prison. Doesn't break into prison, but he
J.G. Wentworth Miller.
Yeah,
yes,
J.G. Wentworth Miller III. He shoots up a bank, pretend, just to get himself thrown into jail.
Okay.
But he gets the blueprints for the prison tattooed onto his body, in the design of the Sistine Chapel. It
sounds so stupid.
No, it's pretty good. First 3 seasons, awesome. Season 4, it's okay.
Damn.
All right. Okay.
It's worth the cross. You just have to keep an open mind because it's a Fox show. You can't go in thinking this is going to be the next 45-minute whatever special show.
How many episodes are there a season?
22. But they're short. They're shorter. They're 30-minute episodes.
I wish that TV would have learned to adapt to the 8 to 13 episode thing a while ago.
Well, they had to keep viewers invested more.
They didn't quite understand that people
out of the
liked more quality content over a shorter period of time.
Right, but it's easier now. It's easier
than
now.
filler episodes and shit.
It wouldn't have
It was
worked
a
back
different
then.
time.
It wouldn't have worked. Back then.
Also, shows like HBO, they have a much larger budget.
Or
yeah,
networks like HBO.
Yeah, but I say shows, I'm stupid.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But it's
HBO changed the game, man.
Yes, they did.
They changed the game.
I mean, when you do shit like Band of Brothers or From the Earth.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen Band of Brothers?
Is it good?
Bro, fantastic.
No, it's not good. It's the best.
Oh.
There's 2 of them. There's
The Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one's better?
Also really good.
The original's better. I think it's better.
They're both
Objectively,
really
it's
good.
better.
The Pacific obviously deals with Pacific Theater. Band of Brothers deals with the European
The
theater.
Pacific has John Bernthal. Is that his name?
Yes.
John Bernthal.
It has
Yeah,
James
Bernthal, that's what
Badge
it
Dale in it. He's in everything.
The dude from Friends is in it.
Doesn't it have the guy from Walking
The guy
Dead,
who plays
Abraham?
Ross?
No.
He's in Band of Brothers.
Yeah, Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't the guy from Walking Dead in it, Abraham?
Yes.
Redhead guy?
Michael Cudlitz.
Oh, yeah. He's in it.
He's also in an
Band of
episode of
Brothers.
Prison Break.
Cool.
He's on screen for about 5 minutes, gets shanked.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, not a big thing. He is. There's a lot of names you'd recognize in Band of Brothers.
You should definitely watch
It's worth the watch.
I'd like to talk about something I've been watching.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Twin Peaks
Yeah.
is weird. It's a 50s era detective story that takes place in the 90s. But in this little town where everything seems like it's happening in the past.
So that show came out in the early 90s, right?
It came out in the early 90s.
Okay.
Then they rebooted it.
Then they didn't reboot it.
They just kind of brought it back.
They brought it back.
Resurrected it.
I feel like
I believe it's
to me
called
that's
Twin.
the same thing.
I believe it's called
not,
Twin Peaks: The
but-
Return. It's like
Yeah.
bringing Prison Break back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. See, there you go.
That's not on Netflix, so I don't know where I'm gonna watch that.
Prison Break?
No. The newest season of Twin Peaks.
I want to say it's on Hulu.
Is it? I don't have Hulu.
Pretty
but
sure.
anyways,
Visit the Bay.
it's a mystery. It's a weirdly like it establishes kind of like a
dominance.
Soap opera feeling a little bit, where every character is sleeping together.
So there's a lot of love triangles.
The acting is over the top at times, if good at all.
Would you say it's hammy?
It's very hammy.
Okay.
The main character,
I had a ham
what
sandwich.
the fuck is his name escaping me right now? Cooper. Agent Cooper. Okay. He's an FBI agent. He goes to this town called Twin Peaks, and there's been a murder. And right off the bat, it's everybody in this town is kind of autistic. Like they have a weird quirk about them. They're all from out of time. It's very strange. Agent Cooper himself, feels like they want to establish the FBI as being like quirky nerds.
Oh,
that's how they want to establish them.
Bro.
They care
bunch of sweats.
about the book. They want to go by the book. And these the sheriff in the town, Harry is not used to doing things by the book because everybody knows everybody in Twin Peaks. There's a lot of doo-wop music, like like shit like that, very percussion,
borderline jazz.
Jazz, very borderline jazz. There's a lot of, I guess they're 18 in high school, but there's a lot of like sexualizing of high schoolers, which is strange to me. And
that's like the thing now, bro.
It bothers me at certain points because it's like, then I got to get into the mindset that it's just the time, like you could, I guess, do that and not care about it back then. But everyone's sleeping together. Like I said,
at the same time,
everyone's sleeping together. The first season is 8 episodes, and it establishes that there's the mystery of this girl that's been murdered goes a little deeper than what's initially thought. They find these letters in her fingernail.
Oh.
Agent Cooper finds it and then links it to another murder that happened a while ago, and he just sticks his feet into the ground and is like, I'm gonna figure out what the fuck's going on here. Doesn't say fuck, no cursing. It's weirdly PG, but it has a lot of themes that are kind of adult at times. Almost seems like it was supposed to be on HBO at a certain point.
Yeah.
But it never was, I don't think. I think it was on the CW.
Was that even a thing back in 1990?
It was a WB. I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit.
I'm not sure. I might be talking on my ass.
I don't know.
Characters seemingly just disappear sometimes. There's a character named Mike who is
Mike Hawk.
Best friends with this guy Bobby in the first episode, who just at one point just doesn't show up anymore. They never talk. They mention his name in the second season, at the beginning of the second season, and just nothing. It's kind of strange. It threw me off a little bit. Maybe he just wasn't an important character, but there's certain things that happen in the first season that make me feel like there's a bit of a supernatural aspect happening in the background.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask, would you say it's anything like the Twilight Zone in a way?
It's things that happen in the way that people act kind of make me feel like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
But the second season, boy, oh boy, it goes off the rails. There's a lot of like creepy imagery that happen out of nowhere, like weird editing. I don't know. I'm kind of lost right now. Like this story and where it's going seemingly doesn't make a lot of sense right now. Characters are all crazy at the moment. They're trying to find this weird long-haired guy named Bob, and
me too, man.
They need to do heroin to find him.
Oh,
it's weird, dude. Like,
so Bob's the mythical dragon.
Bob's the dragon.
Yeah.
Is it Bob Ross, the painter?
No, it's long-haired, straight down, straight long hair, not an afro. But yeah, that's what I'm watching. Twin Peaks. I'm on season 2.
Is there any testicular assaults in that show?
There's a scene when the sheriff goes up to a guy who's guarding a door and just grabs his balls and like pinches his nose and knocks his head back against the door. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Damn.
It's so, this show's so weird, and I know David Lynch is kind of like
weird. He's out there.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah.
There's a movie he made, Mulholland Drive, that is apparently very strange. It got nominated for some Academy Awards, but I'm not sure for what.
Weirdest movie.
But anyways, that's what I've been watching.
Speaking of FBI agents, did you guys see that Agent Starling from Silence of the Lambs is getting her own show?
I did, yeah. They're calling it Clarice.
Yep.
Why?
I don't know.
Hannibal failed. Why do they think anybody's going to care about...
Hannibal is such a fucking good show.
Such a good show, and it fucking failed. Nobody wanted to watch it. I think that it's one of those things that, people just... It's like the Denis Villeneuve movies. They're just not meant... It's not meant for everybody.
It felt very...
Hannibal is meant to be on a HBO
It really
network.
is.
It felt like
that it was just...
It felt like it was season 2 before they really got their footing of what they were trying to be as
Hannibal?
a show. Yes. The first season felt very like halfway between like a police procedural where it felt like a cross between like CSI and Dexter, bro. That's how it felt to me.
Well, I think that's just the tone of the show.
It is, but you got to pick one or the other, and I think eventually...
I think they did a perfect job of
In-
meshing two genres and making its own thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think it worked very well in the first season, because in the
think
second season they break off and they start kind of just focusing more on like the Dexter aspect, the relationship between Hannibal and Will.
Yeah.
Will, if you will.
Yeah, but they take the entire first season to establish that relationship.
Right, but I think
And
there
it
were a
makes
lot
the
of
second season
characteristics.
work.
It makes the
about
second
this
season
show.
even better.
Yes.
Right.
Because we sat through the first season, which was still great.
But nobody wants to... This is the thing. This is what I keep trying to tell you guys. Nobody wants to fucking sit through something to understand the better next thing. It's like The Godfather. You don't like The Godfather Part 1, but you have to sit through The Godfather Part 1 to get through The Godfather Part 2. Because it connects the dots. I do too, but he doesn't. He didn't like Part 1.
I don't think I watched it in the best scenario, in the best setting, but I was like, there are other better movies that have done this better.
I think it's different though. The Godfather is a commitment. You have to commit like a 3-hour block out of your time, but with Hannibal, the episodes are only like 40 minutes long.
They're 40 minutes long, and every fucking one of them is good.
I
finally finished season 3.
There was one I didn't like in season 2, but other than that,
I found it hard to follow, like overall story wise, until season 2.
You find it hard to follow?
Yes.
I guess the storytelling is a bit like...
Well, it's because Hannibal's fucking with Will Graham that whole
he's
time.
kind of like an unreliable...
And as the audience, we're pretty much seeing it, like, for the most part, through Will Graham's eyes. And so they're fucking with the audience at the same time.
But the story
Hannibal's
wasn't cohesive because there would be things where it was just like an episode where it was just like an episode of CSI. It was just another case that we're solving. And there would be like 5 minutes of pertinent overall...
So you're saying it was too episodic and not serialized enough?
Yeah. Okay. If I'm going to sit through all that, like I want it all to be pertinent. Otherwise, but I think in season 2 they broke away from that. They didn't have that random episode where it was just
but they kind of had to figure out. Like I said, they figured out how to do that show the right way by.
I just don't
having those episodes and seeing like in
I'm just saying it would have done better as a show if they had that all figured out before they started.
Yes, but the NBC and those
those
networks love their procedural cop dramas that have that slight aspect of difference. Like you said, it's CSI and it's also Dexter.
But a show like Hannibal is too like psychological for them to do that. It has to be plot building.
But you have to have a season to introduce people to that, and you can't just be balls to the wall like the twisted narrative that Hannibal is.
I think you could have with Hannibal because everybody knows
not on NBC. You can't do that on NBC.
Well, that's the problem. It probably just should have never been on NBC.
It would have been better suited for HBO.
Yeah. There's a show like,
or even
I guess
Showtime.
I don't want to talk.
I would say about Hannibal, I would encourage people to watch the movie.
But nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear, I encourage you to try this first. They just want to know, is it good or is it not good?
It's good.
Hannibal's great.
If you tell me like, you got to get through the first season, I'm going to
I got to move on. We got to move on to the next segment. The next segment. Evan's Anime Corner.
I'm trying to put off the next segment.
Evan's Anime Corner. I got to talk about the anime I've been watching. I've been watching Attack on Titan. I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen is a shonen anime.
What about Cowboy Bebop?
I've never seen that. I need to see it. I've heard I need to see it. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's like the basis for all like new shonen anime now. But anyways, I've been watching the new season of Attack on Titan, the final season, the 4th season. It's fucking great. Unfortunately, I have to watch the sub. Now I know there are people out there who say that the sub is better, but I like to be able to listen to the dialogue rather than read the dialogue.
That's a fair criticism.
And I also can tell if people are doing a good job if I can understand what they're saying.
Yeah, and it's harder to get the subtle vocal inflections when you have to read it.
Exactly. But the season so far is great. I can't watch the newest episode because it's locked behind premium, and I don't want to fucking spend that shit. But I am going to watch it on one of those illegal websites.
I hate that stuff.
But it's great. Attack on Titan, Season 4, must watch. Probably one of the best anime of all time. Everybody should see it.
Okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen is a typical like shonen, like Dragon Ball-esque anime where I'm just getting vibes that it's kind of an evolution of that kind of an anime where the hero is like just the perfect hero and no flaws, whatever. He's super strong. The characters are very endearing. The world is, oh boy, I'm super invested in this world. There's a lot of, I don't know if you've ever seen One Punch Man at all.
I haven't seen One Punch Man.
You haven't seen One Punch Man? I get a lot of superhero vibes from it.
Yeah.
But it's dealing with curses and ghosts and shit.
Oh, so it's kind of fantastical.
Very fantastical. Very I don't want to say I've said quirky before, but it's very quirky. The characters are very quirky. There's a humor aspect to the show, which probably what would freak Isaac out the most about it, because it'll be serious one second and the next minute it'll be hilarious. It'll be a little humorous.
I'm good on all that.
Aside.
That's kind of like Johnny Quest.
Kind of, yeah. Very, very, very good show. I'm on episode 5. It's fairly new, so I hope to see where it goes, and it's looking good so far. But Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan Season 4, watch them. I gave them full chubs, but I think we're done here, boys. What do you guys think? You said all you need to say.
I've spoken my bit. I've had my fun.
If you want to watch Hannibal, you should watch the movie Manhunter and watch Silence of the Lambs.
I think you should just watch Hannibal.
I mean, yeah, but it might help.
No,
those movies came out, and then maybe, I don't know, if you feel like it, you could read the Red Dragon book. I don't know.
How did we get to Hannibal?
I'm just kind of circling back to that.
How did we get there in the first place?
Magic, teleportation.
I don't know.
How did we get there?
Seeking missiles, barracudas,
tomahawks.
But that is our Chub for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed our full Chub review of Blade Runner 2049. Our new segment, Whatcha Watchin, and Evan's Anime Corner. And we'll be back with you guys next week with some more Chub.
More Chub. Full Chub. Full Chub.